Welcome to the Eye on Annapolis Local Business Spotlight. There are thousands of locally owned businesses in the area, some small and some large. Some you may know and others you don't. But one thing they all have in common is a great story, and we want to share it with you. Join us every Saturday as we talk to the founders, the owners, and the managers of local businesses you have come to know and love, and those you will come to know and love. Now here's your host, John Frenay, with this week's Local Business Spotlight.
I love when we can get down to a place that has an amazing view. And we are here with Kirstie Palmer Tippett, who is the president of Waypoints Yacht Charter. How are you?
Good morning.
You're not from here.
I'm not. I'm originally from England, but lived most of my adulthood in the British Virgin Islands.
You know, it's so funny. I was speaking to the woman that owns the wood shop on Main Street that does the maps.
Mm-hmm.
And she is from Scandinavia. I'm trying to remember. It was a while. She's from Scandinavia. Mm-hmm. She was doing a tour guide in Bali, and the sailor rolled up, and they went out on a date that night. And he says, "You know, do you want to sail the rest of the world with me?" And she did. Just called up her people in England. It's probably Thomas Cook or something like that, and said, "Okay, no, I'm out." Abandoned her group, went sailing with this guy, married to him for X number of years, but she still had her Scandinavian accent.
Yeah, you don't.
And she had been here, and she said that they've done studies, and they said if you come to another location with an accent beyond 17, it'll be with you forever. If you come under 17, you've got a really good chance of.
Yeah, I don't recognize the accent, but a lot of people say, "Yeah, no, you've still got a very strong British accent." I don't recognize it. But
that's like me. I've got brown hair. I don't recognize it.
Yeah,
too,
I don't recognize it anymore. Exactly. I know that feeling.
Well, I'll tell you, we wanted to talk about Waypoints Yacht Charters, and you are headquartered right here in Annapolis.
Yep.
Despite the fact that you spent many years in the British Virgin Islands, which I don't know, I would probably want to be headquartered there, but
for sure. The British Virgin Islands was an adventure. I did 18 years in the BVIs. So my background was I originally started in Portsmouth in the UK, and I worked for Sunsail for 11 years. And I started off at sales, bottom of the pile, worked my way up to operations and bringing new boats into the fleet, that section of it. And then I got offered an opportunity to move to the British Virgin Islands at the age of 29. And I worked for a company called Conch Charters, which is a third tier yacht company in the BVIs. I did there for 10 years. Then I did operations in BVI Yacht Charters, and then from there I moved on and opened Waypoints, became a partner with Atlantic Cruising, ACY, with Chris Bent. He offered me an opportunity of a lifetime to be able to take Waypoints and see what I could do with it, and we did.
And here we are.
And here we are today.
Well, basically, you, in a very basic sense, you guys are a vacation company.
It's all about vacation. It's all about fun in the sun, sailing, feet in the sand, and in the sea.
But you're not selling boats.
No, we don't. Waypoints don't sell boats, but we do have a integration with ACY, which means that when people do purchase vessels through ACY, they can then speak to Waypoints, and we bring their boats into our fleets.
Oh, okay. So if I were to purchase
a boat through ACY,
and I realize that I'm busy and I'm not going to use it 100% of the time.
Correct. We'll manage that boat for you.
Oh, that's so wild.
Which is where you can do so many things with it. So what in general it does is it pays to maintain your boat, keep it docked, insured, so the money's not coming out of your pocket and you still have a boat that you own.
That's fantastic.
It's a good tax write-off too.
You know, well, they do say that they say the boat's just nothing but a hole in the water that you pour money into.
Correct. So why not charter it out and let that hole get slightly smaller?
Well, that's why these guys with these 100 and 200 and 300 foot motor yachts do that.
Yeah, correct.
They have a really nice vacation whenever they want
it and charter it out for the rest of it.
But okay, so does Waypoints, are you strictly sail?
We have gone into the motorboats now. We do have a power boat in Annapolis and a power boat in the US Virgin Islands, and we'll probably extend that into other regions also.
Is that because are you finding more of an interest in power as opposed to sail?
There is a market out there now for power and sail. There's two different markets, two different people charter each sections. why not open it to the rest of the world and see what we can do out of it? And people do want power. They want to be able to get from A to B as quickly as they can.
I'm in that group. I talked to
I think you are either power or sail.
Well, I was talking to Mary Ewenson, and I'm power. She's mostly sail, but she does have power. And I said, I want to get out there. I don't want to be at the mercy of the wind. And she's like, well, sailboats have motors too.
Yeah, they do. They just don't get there as fast, right?
I mean, if I don't know how to sail, is this a place for me?
Yeah, you don't have to be able to sail with Waypoints. We will organise the whole thing for you. The good thing with Waypoints is we're a very small boutique friendly company. So when the charter guests are phoning us, the people they're talking to on the phones are the people that are going to see them at the bases, meet and greet, organise their vacation for them. So if they want a captain, you can have a chef. We can organise meals. We can organise as much of the itinerary as they wish us to with a captain, or they can make it as bareboat as they want to. We also do ASA courses where we can teach.
So if I am a avid sailor and I've done it all, but I can just charter the boat for a week.
You can.
And you'll say, have a great sail and
enjoy yourself. We'll see you in a week's time.
If I have no idea what I'm doing, you can throw a captain
on board, and the captain will take over for the whole week and take you out and show you.
And if I am a diva and I want to be pampered,
we will pamper you as much as you wish. If you wish to have spa days on your boat, we will organise spa days on your boat.
That is wild. So, I mean, you're from really the basic, just here's your boat, enjoy it, to...
As we say, we can go through the whole scenario of how organised do you want to be, how much do you want us to organise for you, and how much do you want the freedom of just going from island to island to bar to bar.
Wow, that's awesome.
Well, that's what chartering's all about.
Well,
right?
And I did look at your website, and your website is waypoints.com.
Yeah.
And the prices, when you sit there and you realize that this is ideal for, maybe an extended family or 2 or maybe 3 couples. Correct. Or 2 families, this is really a very affordable vacation.
What you've got to think is we've got catamarans, monohulls, and power. So you can go from anything from 36 feet up to 51 feet. And bigger with some of the monohulls, which are like 53, 54 feet. We also go from 3 cabins all the way through to 5 cabin vessels. So you can have as much family or friends with you as you want, or you take the boat on your own. It depends how isolated you wish to go. During COVID, after COVID, everybody wanted to ram-pack full the boats with their friends, family, and everybody shared boats. But if you think a 5 cabin boat is around the $10,500 to $12,000 a week, you share that between 2 families of 4, it makes it a reasonable vacation.
It really does, especially when you go down to Disney and it's costing like $1,200.
Well, you spend it on a couple of hotel rooms, right? Quite easily.
That's for sure. Well, you mentioned British Virgin Islands, and is that where you are in Annapolis and the BVI?
We've got Annapolis, the British Virgin Islands, the US Virgin Islands also. So we're in St. Thomas.
Okay.
That's an easy hop across to the BVIs. And then obviously we have the BVIs, which is in our Nanny Key location. And Nanny Key has a spa, hotel, boutique, swimming pool, restaurant, and shop facility. So it's very, very niche there.
Are there any other locations on the market? Or, what if I wanted to go to the Med?
Yeah. So the Med, maybe in the future. Yeah, never say never, right?
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. But the big ones that we've just brought in to it are Belize, and we also have Abaco.
Okay.
In the Bahamas.
Okay.
And there are more to come.
That's exciting. And I look out your boat. Obviously, we're all, or not all, but mostly sailboats, and a lot of a lot of catamarans, a lot of trimarans, I guess. Do you deal with the specific brand?
We are all Dufour for the monohulls and Fontaine Pajot FP for the catamarans.
Okay. Is there a reason?
They are probably the best branding in the world. Their design, their models, the way that they finish their vessels off is of high quality. And in Waypoints, what we're expecting on our vessels is of high quality. We definitely put the essence when you come with Waypoints is high branding, high things on the boat, such as water makers, solar panels, all the whistles and bells that you can think of. We're also thinking that, with galley equipment, linens, beach towels, bath towels, Keurig coffee makers. We make sure that we put the higher end branding on board these vessels so that when you do step on board, it's not just like stepping on board a basic charter boat. You're stepping on board somebody else's boat, but it feels like home as well, because we make sure that we've got throw cushions, really nice items already spaced out on the boat for you. You feel very welcomed. Each owner owns their own boat personally, and they still have some personalization within that boat. So it doesn't just feel like it's one of 70 boats in a fleet. It's that one of that boat.
Okay, well, you said the owner owns the boat, and then we talked about with ACY, we've been able to, buy the boat and let you manage it. Now, are all of your boats owned privately?
All privately owned.
Okay.
And every single boat.
And I imagine probably very similar to Southwest Airlines that having the same couple of manufacturers makes it a little bit easier on maintenance.
Yeah. And that's the good thing is that with FP and DUFOR, we can service them very fast. We have a very good maintenance team. The Waypoints team in each base is seasoned within the industry. They've been with us a very long time. We don't have a huge turnover of staff because we managed to keep our staff very happy. We make sure that these boats never leave our docks unless they are working 100%.
It also doesn't seem to be like a really horrible place to work. I mean, as I look out at the window in the British Virgin Islands and sailing.
Well,
I'm sure there's days.
But no, we try and keep our locations to the best in the world that we possibly can. When you think about snorkeling, scuba diving, what better place is there than the Caribbean to go and get your feet wet, as one would say, and sit on the back of your boat with a cocktail in hand?
But I look out at the dock here as we look at them setting up. We're recording this just before the boat show.
Just before the boat show,
They're starting to set them up. But, I see the boats here and stuff like that. And the Chesapeake Bay is not known for its snorkeling.
No, it's not known for its snorkeling or its water, but it is known for its sailing. There's some great locations on the water here in the Chesapeake Bay that you can get to very fast and very easily. St. Michael's is very well known within the area, and you can get there pretty quickly. We also do a lot of day charters from our location here, as well as overnights and weekend charters.
Okay, so we can we don't need to do a full week.
No.
Or longer. We can just do a day.
You can go from 1 day to 10 nights or more.
It sounds like a perfect option for somebody that may not be quite sure that they're into the whole sailing thing.
The Chesapeake Bay, I think, is probably the good way to learn how to sail also. It has a very good ASA school. Once you're out on these waters, it teaches you how to sail it. Or you can just have a captain on board to take that pressure away from you and just go out and enjoy it. Or you can take it out as bareboat if you've sailed before. I mean, there is no better place than sailing in the Chesapeake Bay.
What's a week on the bay look like if
You're probably talking about $6,500 to $7,500 for a week on the bay.
What's the experience like?
The experience-wise, I mean, you've got nice cool breezes, sailing probably, you're talking 15, 16 knots of breeze during the day, easy anchorages, no real tide to worry about massively in most of the locations you go to, or you can just go to a marina each night. There's also marinas in each area.
And there's so many great places to explore on the bay. I mean, you mentioned St. Michael's, you can get down to Tillman Island. If you want to go deep in the bay, you could probably get down to Tangier.
You can go as far as you wish to, the longer that you want to do it, the more time that you spend on the boat will get you out there further. I mean, the big thing that we do find down here with our day charters is a lot of people also use it as business trips. They'll put them on for the day. They'll bring their team down. We'll go and do some team bonding with them. We'll stick canapes on board or a little chef on board for the day. So that it really is like you can go again in the Chesapeake as far out as you wish to or as bareboat as you wish to.
That's a thought I never, team building.
Mm-hmm.
A fantastic
Team building is a
idea.
great idea for businesses. A lot of them come down here just to bring them down for the day. I actually personally did it with my team as well.
And they all know how to sail, so it makes it easy.
Not all of them, but most of them for sure.
Well, you mentioned ASA, and I noticed again on your website, waypoints.com, but it's a sailing school?
It's affiliated with the American Sailing Association, so it is an ASA school. We can do ASA in the USVI, the BVI, and Annapolis.
And what's involved with that?
You just need to let us know if you wish to do that. We get an ASA instructor on board. They come on board with you, and you can go from ASA 101, 103, 104 to 1114, which is the catamaran course. And that takes you through pretty much a 5 to 7 day course if you wish to do the full works, or you can just go on and learn the basics, which is ASA 101, and just learn the basics of how to maneuver the vessel.
So if I have ASA 101, am I qualified to
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No. I'll be honest with you with Waypoints as well. Yes, okay, you could come to me and say you have your ASA 104, which is your bareboat charter. That doesn't generally mean that you've been and spent a huge amount of time on the water. That
means you took the class.
You've taken the class. We don't generally do a 0 to hero that you can, after 5, 6, 7 days, take a boat out on your own. We don't do that. You have to think that these are, anywhere between $6 to $2 million vessels that we have to look after.
Certainly.
We don't just let them loose. So for me, people that have been on the water for longer and have sailed all their lives, I'd prefer to have than somebody who's just done a 5-day course.
Like me.
But if you do just do a 5-day course, that's fine. But we're just going to put a captain on board for you. There's no reason not to go out there and sail and continue to, bring your qualifications up higher. Go and sail more days.
How do you determine their level of experience? I mean, let's just say I'm like, how hard can it be to sail a sailboat? Okay. I call up Waypoints and I say, hey, I need the Chesapeake Bay for a week. Here's my MasterCard or my American Express card. And you're like, yes, we got it. And then
sure. Yeah. Great sail. Thank you.
And then I roll up on the dock and you're like, oh, shit.
Okay. Yeah. Before you even get here, when you go to book a charter with us, we're going to ask you to fill in a sailing resume. That sailing resume comes to ourselves. It goes to our sales team, which our sales manager goes through. After that, it then gets sent to each base manager, and our base managers will read through the resume and agree or not agree. It could just be a checkout captain, which means that you've probably sailed for a number of years, but you haven't sailed maybe within a year. So we're going to put a checkout captain on board just to refreshen you, or a full-time captain might be required. If you do get here and suddenly you decide, no, this isn't good for us after you've been through, we do a one-on-one briefing with every guest. We go through a chart briefing and a boat briefing. So I'll be honest with you, by the time our guys have done a briefing, we're going to know if you can sail or not sail. And then at that point, if you're still not comfortable, we'll then get a captain in for that day for you.
Okay. And you said the tryout captain, whatever. I mean,
and checkout captain.
The checkout captain. I mean, that's something that you put a captain on the boat and we
just
maybe
for the day. We just take it out,
sail out to the bridge and around for a couple hours.
Then drop them off, and then you're good to go as long as they sign you off,
or not,
or not good to go, and the captain needs to go on board for good.
Well, how did you, Kirstie, get into the sailing? I mean, you've obviously been into it a long time, but let's go way back when. Where did the sailing bug bite you?
Because Portsmouth, naval area, on the water, enjoyed sun sail. I was more into dinghy sailing than I was sailing at that time. I went to a lot of the sun sail clubs and learned how to dinghy sail there. From then on, I just got passionate about boats, and I'm very operational more side with the boats than I am sailing side. I find it fascinating how to run the vessel and keep it doing what it does and maintaining it than I am the sailing side. I'm actually not an avid sailor. I don't spend a huge amount of time on these boats, but I spend a lot of time with the boats.
Well, it's funny you talked about the operation of the boats and stuff like that. And one of the things I had on my list here is, are you basically a sailor, a marketer, or an ops person? I think
ops. Yeah, I'm definitely the ops person. I coordinate all the teams from around the world, and if it wasn't for the teams around the world, Waypoints wouldn't be here today, because they are really the most amazing part of this thing.
Where would you, I mean, I know you said there's some other places that are on your radar and stuff like that. Where would you most like to be if all of a sudden there was just this giant pot of money rolled in? And
for sure,
it was
next ones we're probably looking, Newport. I'd like to be up there. I think in Newport, I think we're looking at San Diego, California area would be nice. I'm also probably looking at, I'd love to be in Croatia. I think Croatia would be an awesome destination to be into. Greece is a nice sailing area also. So the Med is a nice place to be related. If I had all the money in the world, where else would I go? Exumas would probably
Nice.
be a nice destination as well to go with Abaco. And, Thailand.
That'd be
It's the
wild.
world's your oyster. Red Sea.
That would be wild. What now? We talked about the sailboat shows that are getting ready to open up. That's the
Yes.
spring sailboat show. I know that you guys are exhibiting there,
We are.
and the fall show will be in October. Sailboat shows work really well for an organization such as you.
Yeah, they do. The spring show is a nice quiet one. It keys off the season, really. Then we go to Newport, and from Newport we then have the October. The October show is a massive show. It's our biggest show of the year. And then we do Miami in February. We do those 4 shows. October one is absolutely pinnacle for the business for the whole year.
I've heard there's so many different businesses that have certain dates that are critical. And I know when Jerry Hardesty was alive at Middleton Tavern, he said that the restaurant week was critical between the red and the black on the balance sheet.
For sure it is.
And he's like, you come in here and you eat on a Tuesday night. He said, I'll probably buy your dinner. I said, if you smile and look like you like it, I may even buy your drinks.
Yeah.
But he said he says, so when you get a really poor showing on restaurant week. So I imagine that
it's the same for the boat show. But Annapolis, I think, is renowned city for that boat show.
Well, I think it's funny that, you just railed off the, Newport, Annapolis, Miami, and in the sailing world, if you say you're going to Annapolis, you're not going like, yeah, and we're going to tour the Naval Academy, and we're going to get I heard there's a new restaurant here, and then Mills Wine's
sailing.
Great liquor store, and you never hear that. It's in the sailing community. Going to Annapolis, you know exactly what you're talking about.
Correct.
It's the second week in October. You're going to the boat show.
Yeah,
It might be power, it might be sail, but it's
and it's something that I remember so fondly as well from being in the BVI. I always knew in October coming to Annapolis was like awesome time. Let's go. And did I ever imagine living here? No, I didn't.
Now, are you jaded now that you live here like I am?
Absolutely. It's nice to be back in seasons. I miss my 12 mile by 12 mile island.
Sure.
I miss my team over there and I miss my friends over there. But do I love being in the seasons and seeing in the summer? There is no better place to be than Annapolis, for sure.
Just the way the harbor is so busy and everything else. And actually, you've got a bird's eye view of what may or may not happen at City Dock. So we'll
very
see.
shortly.
We'll
see.
Do you know where you're going to be at? Oh, I guess you don't know for the fall boat shows. I'm not going to be able to get this out in time for the spring show.
We're
but
pretty much opposite Chop Tank. Yeah. Chop Tank and the Vacation Basin.
Okay, the Vacation Basin?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, a great opportunity to check it out. If you're not even sure bareboat or captain chartered boat is for
Come and
you,
talk to us about it. That's what we're here for.
and I think that, gosh, I have personally never done that, but I've toyed with the idea. Because I'm jaded, I would not want to do it in the Chesapeake Bay. I would want to do it where a little bit down into the Caribbean. But I think it would make sense to turn around and say, okay, let's do a weekend on the Chesapeake Bay. Let's do a day, an overnight on the Chesapeake Bay, and see if this is for us, because it's not.
It's a great place to start, and a lot of our guests will start here and then progress further around the world. With sailing, it's an awesome destination to kind of get your feet wet, as one would say, with sailing.
What is the difference between the boats? Obviously we know you've got the power boats and the sailboats. That's the major difference. But as far as the experience, I guess, between like a monohull and a trihull,
I think the avid sailors generally go for the monohulls. The people that want to go out there and just enjoy the water, family time, friend time, will go for the catamarans. What you've got to think is the catamaran is pretty open planned living. The monohull isn't such open plan living. You do get a heeler over when you're sailing. On a monohull, you don't get that effect on a cat. But the cat is for comfort. It's home from home. It's a floating hotel in general that will shift really fast in the water when you get it up sailing.
Is that primarily what your customers and your clients are looking for the catamarans?
They generally either are catamaran sailors or monohull sailors. And usually monohull sailors that go to cats don't tend to go back to monohulls.
Do they look down on one another like the power motors
for sure.
and the sail?
Absolutely,
the sail motors do too?
100% they do. Yeah, the avid sailors are like, it's like a floating hotel, a catamaran, which I can get. But it's also, a different experience when you get on the catamaran because you're steady and it's great for the kids. when you think about a monohull, it can heel over. So the kids aren't quite so keen on it.
I've got to think too that with a monohull, you're probably more of as a sailing,
A sailor.
and it's more of like the jet ski as opposed to the cruise ship.
Oh, yeah.
To a point. I mean, the catamaran is going to be more of and I don't want to say it's like a cruise ship atmosphere because it's not, but I mean,
it's a fun day trip. It's a fun trip. You know, you go out and it's a bit more of a party boat compared to a monohull.
Kirstie, who is your average client, or is there one?
There isn't an average client. The clientele seems to be getting younger, but maybe that's just because I'm getting older.
We're not getting older. Stop that.
I'm
that
definitely
silly talk.
getting older. They do seem to be getting younger, but I think bringing in the younger guys and bringing them up to sailing is the way to go. I think, you know, why not encourage these kids sailing and enjoying it? You know, it's a way to get around the world and see the world in a different way.
Do you think sailing is totally off topic, but do you think sailing is losing some of its appeal in the younger generations?
I think it was. I think it's coming back. I think it did. I think it became very, how do you say this exceptionally nice? Very middle classed or higher classed. And I think we did that but the boat, what you got to think is the boats have got more expensive. So with more expense becomes a higher priced vacation. Could the kids afford these higher priced vacations? No. Now we've got slightly smaller boats, more reasonably priced. I think bringing those kids now into it and teaching them how to sail will bring them through to bring in their children, their families. And we've got to encourage these kids to get on board.
And I was just curious as to sailing, because I mean, it had become, it appears to be this exclusive sport. I mean,
yeah. And I think we've got to take that away from it now and make it much more inclusive to everybody, which is why Waypoints is super keen on, you know, not overpricing sailing. Let's get you out and teach you how to sail. I'd prefer to, you know, get these kids out there, even if it's teaching them how to sail right now, because they're the next generation, right? Those are the people that will make Waypoints better in the future also. So I've got to think about the future of Waypoints. These younger guys are going to be bringing forward their families, their children, and their future generations for time to come. So do we still want all the guys that can sail now? Absolutely, 100%. You know, they know how to sail. Let's bring them in. We need to encourage them to start bringing the younger ones as well.
Sure.
Make it more reasonable so that they can come.
What would surprise most people about Waypoints that they don't know?
I think the biggest thing is the maintenance and the boutique and white glove service. I think that's possibly the biggest thing. We really are focused very heavily on maintaining these boats and making sure that when you do get on board, you know, if you lift a floorboard, it's beautifully clean. The engine room's beautifully clean. Everything works on the vessel. You're not going to get on board a boat that doesn't work. It looks beautifully clean. And when you step on board, you know, the beds have already been made. They look stunning. Everything is clean and tidy and ready for you. We put away all your foods and drinks before you arrive so that it looks professionally done. And my team, I think the customer service, the acknowledgement of my team that you're not just a person in a computer, you're acknowledged as a person for Waypoints.
That really stood out to me when we were
family.
talking for the past half hour or so, was when you said that it's such an individual, it's a boutique team, that when you talk on the phone, there's a very good chance that same person that said, "Hello, thank you for calling Waypoints," is the one that's going to be
meet you
on
out
the dock
your
saying,
taxi.
"Hey, welcome to Waypoints.
Let me put your bags on board."
Here's your boat." Any great horror stories?
There's always great horror stories. I think
I mean, on the client level.
Yeah,
Like
I think my biggest one was when I got a phone call on the third day from a customer who turned around to me and said, "Can you tell me where my third anchor is, please?" And it's like, oh, okay, so where's the other two anchors? Oh, well, they went on day 1 and day 2. Oh, could you just bring the boat back and we'll give you your third anchor?
Oh, so
Yeah.
they were
Dropping
just
anchors and
leaving them.
just leave the
They're
anchor. They'll
making
come
sure
by
that
and
the
pick it up
oysters
later.
had some place to attach.
Yeah. I think that was possibly the fun one that we kind of brought them back to docks and was like, okay, yeah, no. No major horror stories. You know, there's always accidents that can happen and will happen.
Well, that ties into your maintenance, though, too. I mean, no, if the boat is maintained, I mean,
You've got to think we protect the customer and the owner. So, you know, we dive on all our boats when they come back from charter. We check the hulls and the conditions of the bottom. We video record them for future reference. We get in and check the engine mounts, make sure that nothing's gone around the propeller. And it's just, we don't get a boat in at 11 o'clock in the morning and send it back out at 4 o'clock in the evening. We have a 48-hour turnaround window. So we make sure that that boat has been checked from the top of the mast to the bottom of the keel.
How many boats are in your fleet?
I've got 15 in Annapolis and I've got 25 in each Caribbean location.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of boats.
And you do it all, manage it all sort of from here?
My team manage it. I just orchestrate it from here.
The conductor.
I am the conductor, for sure.
Well, Kirstie, I want to thank you so much for your time. I encourage anybody to, when the boat shows do roll around, get over there onto City Dock and check out Waypoints Yacht Charters, waypoints.com. You can also check out ACY. They're right here on 3rd Street. Fairly easy to park.
It's easy to park here.
It's a tight little
right by the pirate ship.
A wonderful way for a vacation. And I know that as you look at the prices and you think like, okay, well, I can get a room for a Holiday Inn for $110 a night and you're going all a week. That's like $700. And well, it's not a Holiday Inn. And when you figure about the, number of people that it can accommodate, for your family, or maybe it's 2 couples, or maybe it's 2 families.
And the amount you can see, you're not stuck to one location.
And off you go. I mean, here in the Chesapeake Bay, you can get to Rock Hall, you can get to St. Michael's, you can get to Baltimore, you get down into some cool little cove. And
for sure.
Same goes for the BVIs or anywhere else down
anywhere else
as
in the
well.
world, for sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, John.
Thanks for listening to this week's Local Business Spotlight. Please make sure to visit eyeonannapolis.net for all your local news, events, and opinion. And in case you haven't already, please subscribe to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief, where we bring you all the day's local news direct to your phone, tablet, or computer in about 10 minutes. It comes to you at 6 a.m. every Monday through Friday, and you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.